Alrighty, let's see what we can do here. Uh, howdy up? Alrighty. Let's go ahead and start this up. As you're wondering, yes, this is going to be a grass field start. As you played this game before, this is called Satis. You know kind of where this is at. For those of you who don't, or you don't even know what this game is called, about, or what it's called, this game is called Satisfactory. It is a game that is largely a sandbox factory building automation game. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and skip the intro. If you really guys want me to see that, I will be more than happy to do a stream or do a video on this. But I will say right now, more than likely, I will just keep going on. But let's go ahead and jump in on this. Go ahead and start this up. Not with any particular game settings, but this is alrighty. We are in, and this is the grass fields. For those of you who aren't familiar with the game, yeah, you might be like, oh man, why are you starting in such a lousy position? Well, a couple things really. First and foremost, really doing this just to kind of have a bit of fun. Here. So yeah, I am just kind of checking a couple of things here. But I am kind of one of those guys that really isn't super crazy. Just gonna go ahead and get this started. And just gonna get this up and running, see how we do. So, a couple things I've learned about this particular area in recent playthroughs. And if anyone's curious, how long have I been playing this game? I've been playing this game according to Steam, I'm at about just over 7,000 hours. That said, I have never actually built nuclear myself. I have not done a lot of things that you would expect someone who's played the game that long. And part of that comes down to the fact that okay, let's get all this. I've been playing Satisfactory since about 2020. And one of the things, the biggest things for me was a new update came out and I started fresh, like a lot of people did. will have. There are those that have, just kept, you know, updating their, reworking factories to account for new updates. I would really start new just to kind of get a real good feel for it from the start. But depending on how these streams go, you might see me bring in a few people and do some kind of crazy things. Oh, I already do some crazy things according to some folks in the Discord I'm a part of. But this is gonna be kind of a chill, just kind of goof around, play, have fun. And I might be listening to music on my end, eventually, just because it does take a little bit of a while to go through. This is definitely one of those games that's a little bit more challenging to play. Early game, unless you are either just really good with math, really good logistically, thinking the term of logistics. And that's something I've actually done for a living. And if you're thinking that means I've been a truck driver, no. I've been involved in very close to, very connected to that. I've been very tied to that industry for about almost 10 and a half, 11 years, somewhere in that range. And right now we're just playing this very much passive mode, just because I want to just kind of just relax a little bit. Have a couple of saves that are, in particular a save that is very, very advanced, and I'm probably not going to get into that too much here. Most people want to see this, but not really too crazy to go, oh hey, let's just show off some of it. This is the big thing about this game, about the game, is you can have a very serious cooperative mode. Most servers I've seen for rent out there are for generally 4 people. That's what the game is tuned for as far as multiplayer. I definitely recommend, while maybe not necessarily having the latest and greatest in graphics card memory, I do recommend not playing this towards their kind of minimum settings. You're definitely going to want a pretty beefy computer, especially the further along you get with this. Alright. And all this wood, because wood is king at this early stage in the game. Much more important than having these by any stretch of the imagination. Because right now, if you're new to the game, you have several different power sources out there. You're not going to have access to most of a big chunk of them until you get past this very beginning stage. Because you've been brought by a company on this untouched world, and you must gather its resources, make parts, and do so by building a factory to do so. That is, but this world is, again, as I said, is untouched, and you don't have a whole lot in the way of a pre-established power grid. You're going to develop all of that on your own. Now, probably what most players will probably tell you is what I'm doing is a very, very bad idea. Don't ever you need all this stuff. And arguably, yeah, you probably will. Eventually. In this very, very early game, nah. In this case, you need efficiency. So there's a couple of ways to get about that. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to focus on making biomass primarily out of wood. Why is that important? Well, if you've ever heard of the concept of get the biggest bang for your buck, that is what wood is. Until you are able to start unlocking certain functions, certain alternative sources of fuel, wood is your best bet. You get, for every 4 wood that you use to make biomass, you get 20 biomass. Whereas leaves, you use 10 leaves, you get 5 biomass. So, we've got the biggest chunk of the wood here going. I am going to actually end up running out of space, which is kind of intended. So we'll go ahead and use up all that space. Drop that in there. Alright. Let's go ahead. Production. We're going to do a couple of miners. We're going to need to do a couple of those. We're not really going to block any messages. Guys want to see that? Feel free. Pause. Gotta rewind this. I'm just really going to go ahead and just build this. And get this going. Head, miner, I'm going to go ahead, and while normally I don't recommend doing this, this is a situation where we're dealing with working in the weeds, so you're going to deal with a lot of, well, we need pots. How do we get pots? Well, long and short of that is, very carefully. The other part of that is, I am actually going to show you that. We have our proper nodes. Gotta get this, what I call a one-off off of here. That's why you may be able to reportedly go do that. It's not something I'm a big fan of. So, smelter. Tractor. Where we go? Storage bin. And that in there, and that in there, run that in there, we're going to run that as copper ingots. here and do a bit of collecting. So one first thing that I need to do is I need to go ahead and grab some materials from this here area. This will help me kind of get started. Now I am going to have to make sure I come back and get this power, get the hard drive. Because hard drives are the primary way you're going to get are going to be the primary, if not the only way you're going to get alternative ways to make items. Some ways, any Satisfactory players watching this, either if they catch me live or if they catch me, video or something like that, that's what this is about. Or that's one of the big things to be kind of paying attention to. Alright, so let's go ahead and boom. 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 I haven't forgotten. See what we can do about this. How that runs. I think. is, I am not I'm just not a Twitch guy. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just a guy. I'm just kind of doing this really to kind of let the time fly while I take care of some other things. Or wait for the ability to take care of some other things. But I am going to try and go ahead and keep this close too. So, we'll go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do production. Smelter. Constructor. Sort of thing. This is pretty much what most folks are going to do. I'm going to move this here up real quick. Okay. So and this is just again me just kind of knowing what I need to do and what I really want to do. So I need to get 200 concrete, 100 plates, 100 rods. I had concrete, I had the rods. I was a little short on plates. But I am now in the process of building production lines that will let me do that basically without having to fight for it. At least fight too heavily. Keep it moving, keep it moving. Let's see. Put something here. Something on here. Something on here. Turn this here into rod. You might be like, well, what's this all in the foot? Like, I don't need screws here. First of all. Second of all, I need to do a serious power build. Now, those of you who are Satisfactory veterans will know, oh boy, here we go again. Watching this guy make it fool himself with a bunch of biomass furnaces. Well, I respectfully agree, disagree as far as biomass burners are actually extremely powerful if you know what you're doing. Anyone else thinks them extremely powerful? The fact that they scale down depending on factory need. But yeah, this is essentially well, for those of you who just had to come in and view, thank you for stopping on by. Can't argue that I am entirely all that good, but thank you for stopping by. studios in here. But, six. Kind of get those little tools started. Definitely need a lot more iron plates, so this is going to just focus on making those for the moment. Oh boy. Let's see what we can do. Super. Can't get this going. Yeah, it's just kind of a lot of sit here and kind of wait. And see me looking down a little bit. I'm kind of just trying to check on my phone here about setting up for doing VODs over probably do channel on YouTube, which isn't really all that much. But I haven't really been focusing on my channel. I've been focusing on real life, especially the last few years. But I've recently become very free with my time. So spend a little time doing that. And just kind of see what happens from here. Yeah, this is probably a very good time of night for someone, especially from just be up, but it is what it is. So, almost got the, probably got roughly 300 iron ore. Make life simple to have the plate and the runs, at least the basic machines, and all doing it for quite a little while. So, if you're new to the game, this is, like I said, this is a factory sandbox automation package building game. This is unfortunately a tropical world that is untouched. What does that mean? That means you have no established power now. If you're going to do this, you're going to definitely have to make sure that you keep up on your power grid. That's one thing that I'm working to kind of do right now. Because while you can build your habitation utility base or hub, and it will give you, has two biomass burners, like you might see on the right side of the screen. I do have I'm going to move myself up here out away for a bit. Here to the center, which is interesting. But hey. Let's see how that kind of goes. Alright. Handwriting the ore. This which is unfortunately one of the things that you're going to have to do when you first start the game. Now this is, for me, it's going to be literally just getting the materials I need to get a small power plant in place. That I can actually go out and let it run. But it will not supply itself with power with the way things are right now. So, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to build a reasonably high level probably keep this to an hour just right now because this is a really early game. This is like there's not a whole lot going to be very interesting. If I get into this, once I start getting into more very crazy builds, you'll probably see me on for a couple hours. You might see. Get all these here with this iron ore and iron ingots. And if someone's wondering what I'm doing for this, I am doing this through OBS Studio. Again, I'm not a YouTuber, I'm not a big Twitch person. I'm literally right now in a position where I have a lot of free time. I'm just taking advantage of that. Depending on how things work out, I'm probably doing this a lot more often, but I'm still, again, I won't be doing, oh my gosh, let's do this, let's do that. I'm going to primarily focus and let's see what we got here. Alright, so we've got 98 or so iron ore left to do. Should be more than enough plates and enough iron rods. Let's go. Let's go. 3 hours later. 3 hours later. Yes. While this may be a factory automation game, this is what you're stuck with. You haven't built any great big factories, and more importantly, even if you had built a great big factory, you don't have the established power grid to achieve it. So that's what I'm actually working on first. I've got basic systems set up, literally working in the weeds, and we're gonna go from there. So let's go ahead and 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, we'll make enough iron plates to fulfill the need that we have there for the remaining 7 biomass burners. And the reason there are 7 is that I built a few others primarily as a proper power plant, as it were, for working in the weeds. You're going to hear me say that a lot in this early game, because you literally are building on, you're not building on foundations, you're not building on anything all that fancy. You are literally just going to be building on the ground, in the weeds. Once we get on the proper factory floor foundations, you're going to see me really not work on doing anything like this, all the way on the ground and just kind of haphazard, unless it's a makeshift set, something to just literally get started. And let's just grab a bit more copper ore, because it's now time to get all that wire I need. I'm also going to need wire for cable, power poles, and the cable to hook everything together. but it takes a little while to get this as well. We'll let that keep going while that gets to about 300 copper ore. Yeah, I wear context, so very, very uncomfortable there for a minute. It's not the usual. So, not really looking to get a whole lot done here. Just kind of see if there's anyone out there that want to watch this, things like that. Right back. I hear definitely a lot of background noise, so we can work on that. Number 78. I'm gonna have to definitely cut this stream shorter than what we're probably more familiar with from streamers. A lot less annoying, shall we say. And we're almost to the 300 iron ore I was looking to have, or copper ore, I should say. So, we'll actually go ahead and cut this off a little early. We definitely should have more than enough iron ore to do all the wiring we need. This is going to be starting with about that. Yeah, and no one really asked you. No. Thing with Data is, she's your fix-it provided aid, as it were. So when you do something for the first time, or she registers it as you being the first time, so let's say you run into a situation where the game sees you as a brand new character, so you'll see some things. For example, first time you're putting down a water extractor, which is something that'll come up later on. Right now, goal here is just to get all this copper ingots made, and from the copper ingots to the wire. And 40 minutes in, still haven't got anything powered.